Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tanya June Moore here at the Sedona International Film Festival in 2016. And I'm here with two women filmmakers, which I love, thank you, who have a short in our festival this year. Please introduce yourselves and tell us the name of your short.
I'm Kai Collins, and I'm co-writer and co-director with my partner.
I am Dina Adar, and we wrote How to Survive a Breakup. You want to say what you mean?
It's a comedic short. It's more than a little autobiographical. It was a topic we had explored a bit a few years ago, and then in this last year, I went through a bad breakup, and
I had a male adult move in with me after his fiance dumped him. And
Yeah.
that supplied a lot of material.
True life is always funnier
Well,
than what's on the...
And one thing that we've been finding a lot of pleasure in and finding our voice in, we've been writing and working together for almost 9 years, and our favorite projects and most recent projects have all been driven from autobiographical material, and it just flows so much more easier. Like, write what you know, there's a reason for that.
Pain is funny, too.
And we like mining these painful life experiences and finding a way to
really
at least
like it.
justify them to ourselves, if not make everybody else laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Well, and when you're doing something like this that I'm certain most anybody could relate to.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope people are experiencing pain as much as we are.
We don't want to be the only
love it.
ones
Keep
living
it
in the
going, we love
dark.
it.
We're not alone, are we?
You are not alone. You are not alone.
So yeah, whether you've been broken up with or broken up with someone or both, it's hard all around, and getting back out there. And these characters are in their mid to late 30s, so it's a different scene than being just out of college and on to the next bar, on to the next.
Right.
Yeah, and dating has really, I mean, I've been in a relationship for a long time, and it's really changed. A lot of this, I would have this male adult staying with me, and he'd tell me stories of dating on his phone on the toilet, and I would talk to Kai. I'm like, he's making dates while
And
he's
I'm
going
like,
to the
yeah, no, I'm
bathroom."
on the receiving end of guys like that. I was in a relationship for almost 8 years, so I came back into the world of, but like Facebook didn't exist before. Last time I was single, this online
Giving your age
dating.
away, right?
I don't care.
okay.
I'm 57, and if you want my secret miracle cream. So it was just navigating this entirely new world and getting over my idea of like, oh no, only weirdo failures go online to date, and then seeing, a lot of weirdo
But
failures
that's,
are
you know,
online
it's not the norm
dating.
anymore.
But
That's the standard now.
and the people you encounter, and the whole process of getting back out there and just finding the journey from a male and female perspective was really fun for us to explore.
Do you remember a time when dating ads were in the newspaper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
This is like the new version of
the
that. I
Pina
think.
Colada song is what comes to mind, where he's getting tired of his lady and they meet each other's. No, am I dating myself even more?
Yeah, I'm not. That's not ring. That immediately triggered the first initial commercials of the eHarmony guy.
Oh yeah,
You guys
yeah.
remember, like
Yeah.
the eHarmony guy, and he would come on. I'm like, who is trusting this man to
Yeah.
find them love? But apparently, a lot of people.
It's a proven algorithm.
Yeah, it is apparently. So that was. But now we have these ones. I mean, they're popping up all the time, like Bumble or Bubble or.
Well, and of course,
Something with a B.
Tinder and
Yeah,
all
Tinder
of
and
those.
all these, and I mean, it's really just kind of, and it's fascinating to me because it really it encompasses how we now also navigate the world and interact with each other. It's all on our phones, you know.
Do you think going at this from a woman's perspective, a women's filmmaker perspective, and women being funny is still one of those things people are like, oh, women are funny?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've like bridged that gap?
Well, I think we've always thought we were hilarious. Since I was a child, like, I knew my role was to entertain at dinner time, and I would come home and I'd do impersonations of everyone. So it's, I don't think we've ever had trouble being funny.
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely a stigma
But-
with women being funny.
Yeah.
And I think that the area of film that we've chosen, comedy, is a harder one for women on top of everything. You know, it's a fairly male-dominated world. But I think we do have a unique perspective that we're bringing. And you know, we can, I mean, I think a lot of people, if they don't know that it's female filmmakers, can think that it is a male filmmaker, because
Sometimes I'm Kai, she's Dina, but sometimes they think Kai's a dude and she's actually Dean. So
Just go with
fun.
it.
Yeah.
just go with it. But one thing, we come from an improv background as well, and in improv and sketch comedy scenes, as funny as women are, they often take a back seat. Not because they don't have the best idea, but because they're more concerned about creating a solid ensemble piece, or what works for the best for the scene as a whole, what's going to drive it forward. Whereas, and some women are like this as well, but a lot of times men are more like, I'm the star, I'm the grandstanding. And so we've I think always come at it from, how can we tell this story as an ensemble, and give everyone a voice that's equally powerful.
And we also like to flip the roles. So
That,
what you
yeah.
would traditionally see a man playing, we like to try to write for a woman,
Yeah.
you know, because
Why not?
it's entertaining.
It's
Yeah.
entertaining. So you're here at the Sedona International Film Festival, and what does a platform like this mean to you?
This festival is the most amazing, nurturing festival for filmmakers. It really is a filmmakers film festival. And we had heard from other filmmakers that this is the festival to go to, which was, you know, a large part of
An
of
impetus
submitting
to
here.
supply
But
to submit. Yeah.
seeing your work with these kinds of audiences is so rewarding and fulfilling. Seeing it firsthand, how they respond and what they're connecting with. So and everybody's been so lovely and so open and so, I mean,
Willing to talk.
I don't wanna
It doesn't
lose
seem like there's, oh, this is where the cool kids hang out, and you newbie filmmakers have to go stand in the corner, and if there's food left over, you can sneak some home. This just, I mean, we've been embraced from the get-go, and the way they take care of us, whether it's accommodations or food or plugging our work to others, everyone has been so open to saying hello and talking with us. And
And we've learned so much from fellow filmmakers
Yes.
here, and
Yeah.
made so many new friends. And I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but it's really true. It's like,
we've made friends for life. We have
We've
laughed.
made
We
new
have
friends.
cried. We stayed up all night doing our nails. We've had a great time.
we
It's-
wondered if guys
it's been
were doing
amazing.
That too. We're like,
It's
do you
been
think
amazing.
Guy filmmakers are doing this right now, like doing any of this stuff? Or is it just
Maybe they're
Yeah.
shading, I don't
But
know.
it feels like such an embrace and such a celebration of filmmakers and filmmaking, and not as focused on what stars you have attached, or how wild or experimental it may be, whatever, and there's a place for all of that. But this feels like they're really interested in content and the creative process, and celebrating that, and then taking care of the people who shepherded these projects here.
Yeah. You've already had a screening,
Yes.
right? So how was the screening and the Q&A? And
So much fun. They paired us with a feature called Baby, 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 and that's one thing we've noted, is that there seems to be a very thoughtful process in pairing shorts with features that complement one another, have similar themes, that will
Baby,
attract
Baby,
similar
Baby's
audiences.
Also about a breakup.
Yes,
Yeah.
and shot in LA, and so it was really nice to be up there, and plus they had amazing cameos and amazing stars. We're like, oh yeah, we're screening the same night as Bradley Cooper, and
And the Q&A
the
was
Q&A was
great.
really fun because we
Yeah.
got to sit in director chairs, which we don't always get to do, and people ask great
It's the little
questions,
things.
and they're engaged, and we had an almost sold out screening for Monday night, and I think tomorrow's has been sold out for over a week. So.
yeah, you're here with a bunch of, filmmakers and people who love film, and this has been cultivated in the city, so they love it. Like, they latch
You
on.
feel that.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's
And I mean,
that
there's
a
nothing-
palpable energy about
When
that.
you as the writer side, because we talk about the directing side, but the writer side, you're in a room by yourself, and we telecommute,
It's so
so we're on the
lonely.
phone, on the computer, and you don't.
We don't have a water cooler.
You also don't get that immediate gratification or even understanding of what people are responding to, and so the best way you could do that is to sit in the back of an audience and watch and see what people are reacting to.
Yeah.
And there's no greater gift than that. As a writer, filmmaker, whole, you're not going to get that anywhere else.
In comedy, especially, seeing where things get laughs that were unanticipated, things that we thought were hilarious while we were filming that are just crickets.
And I was going to ask about that. Is there, something in the film that you were like, oh my God, this is so funny? not funny when
Oh,
the
yeah, all
audience,
the
or
time.
vice versa. Like, I didn't even think that
But
was
you know,
that good.
we come from a sketch, improv, stand-up background. We're used to not
We're used
getting
to
laughs on
failing
some
a
stuff.
lot.
Yeah. And you have to know coming into any show that, you know, you always want to try to know your audience. Why stand-ups, when they travel, they adapt their set when they are in, you know, Omaha versus New York. But you don't know what people are going to respond to until you're there. So all you can do is say, I'm going to put forth the best that I think is funny. It's our voice. We've worked really hard at what we do. You know, we try to surround ourselves with funny people so we can constantly be laughing and know what is funny. But humor is so subjective.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not like, it's very different than drama in the sense that, like, this is a very sad moment. Debatably, no. This is a very sad moment. He is dead. You know, like, that's it. Comedy
There's
is,
some gray area.
you just, you know, there's a lot of gray, so you just don't know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really
I mean,
hard
the
to find a
French love
universal
Jerry
thing.
Lewis, like, you know.
Physical comedy is the only thing I think you can
I
say
think
is
physical
universally.
comedy can transcend.
Universally funny.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Do either one of you have a favorite part of the movie?
I looked at her and like, what's your favorite part?
I think it might be the tag, the end, while we're rolling credits, because it gets such a laugh every time, and it's really fun to be in an audience with several hundred people who are just, you know, when something you've created brings the house down.
There's a scene where we have a split screen of the female and male leads on both on a toilet dating on their phones, and that to me was just, it's really fun just
Yeah.
to watch the timing of the actors and what they're saying and doing and
And
knowing,
how it
knowing
wasn't
where that came from.
it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily something we had intended to edit that way, but in the post-production process, seeing like how these would dovetail, and so yeah, I would say those are my anything on the toilets.
Is funny.
We
Are
like
we
to-
like the toilet scenes the best?
Queen of the toilet scenes.
It's kind of our MO. Can't go wrong. Put 'em on the toilet.
I do want to open it up to the gallery for some questions. You guys are so delightful, and,
Oh,
and
thank
you.
It's nice having really funny, lively people in the
We
seat.
appreciate it.
Please.
I know that you were working on a web series. You know, with like the internet playing such a huge role in like filmmaking, do you see any like difference between like working on a web series versus working on like a more traditional picture?
Yeah, great question.
Would
yeah,
you
no-
repeat the question for the audience?
Is there a difference between working on a web series, which we're in post on, versus a more traditional film or short, I would take it. And the web series was actually, this is crazy, we shot 25 pages in 2 days. I think anybody who knows anything about film knows that that's stupid. And it was very
Or just very ambitious.
very ambitious or stupid, you be the judge. You know, everything's going to the web. It's been at the web for a long time. You're allowed a little bit more, I think, flexibility with production value. I don't like to do that because I still want everything to look as good as it is, but a lot of people that you'll meet will say, just shoot it, doesn't matter how it looks.
Just get the content done and
Right.
put it up there and let it find its audience.
Yeah, but
So there's
still,
a
there's a shorter time, there's a shorter attention span too. on the
yeah,
web.
so you don't have the same amount of time that you do with a feature or even a short film to develop the characters and the story. You have to get in, you have to establish right away, like, this is why you want to watch. These are, and like our web series that we're working on now, we're really focusing on a great opening theme song. Where as soon as it comes on, you're like, I feel cool for tuning in, or this is something I want to pursue.
The web series is CMC. It's Cannabis Moms Club. So yeah.
You'll never guess what it's
So
about.
it's basically a group of women who get together under the guise of a jewelry party and discover they have a common interest. So right there too, it's probably gonna be a little controversial because talking about moms smoking pot might ruffle some feathers. So we kind of had to keep that in mind too, that we really wanted to stick with that this was actually a bonding thing for these women, that it was a tool for them to actually be honest and open, because in today's world, moms get a lot of heat. There's so many platforms for moms to basically feel bad about themselves for doing something wrong. So this was really also an opportunity where I think the web allows you, and web series allow you an opportunity to just be more free, play more, explore topics that maybe you wouldn't be able to on traditional television as well.
Where did you guys get your improv training, and who's your favorites in female?
So the question is, where did we get our improv training and who is our favorite comedian? I started with theater sports in San Francisco on a whim, a stage combat class I was taking was
I
canceled.
could totally see that
And-
you're doing stage combat.
And I thought, oh, well, improv won't have any homework, so I'll take that. And we actually did. We had to read 3 books, and we had to do all this homework.
Damn it.
And but I fell in love with it. And on a whim, I moved to Chicago. I'd never been there. I didn't know anyone there. I auditioned for Second City, just walked in off the street, essentially. Called first and said what time did the doors open, and fell in love with it and thought, well, I moved thousands of miles, maybe I should take a writing class as well. And that's how I got into writing. And then Dina.
I actually started improv in high school. My dad moved a lot, so I was like a professional new kid. So I think acting and improv was like, kind of forced upon me. And then when I got to LA, I trained at LA Connection, IO, and we met at the Groundlings. So that's where we trained. And then I was doing stand-up for years, and I actually ran my own stand-up show, and then sketch the whole time, was doing that, with different troupes in the Bay Area and all over. So
Yeah.
comedy was really it's kind of always what we connected with.
In terms of favorite comedian,
Female comedian.
female comedian, I mean, I fell in love with Lucille Ball, Vitamin to Vegemin. Like, I just thought that was the greatest sketch moment I'd ever seen on TV.
I love Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn
she gets enough
in
credit.
Overboard,
Yep. Got
Private Benjamin. She's just amazing.
Amy Schumer now is like, I think that's just that's what everybody's going to say,
Mm-hmm.
because she is like unbelievably funny, and she's
Yep.
just making headway.
Yeah.
There's Jenny Slate, who's a really fantastic female comedian.
Writer, director
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, there's.
Well, who, when you were really young, who were you looking at?
I'm like my youth, blank.
I mean, there are a lot.
Now you have Tina Fey and
And
Amy
they
Poehler.
broke open a lot of doors.
Maya
Tina,
Rudolph.
I
Tina
love
Fey
Maya
being
Rudolph.
I love me
the
some
first
Maya
head
Rudolph.
writer on SNL, female head writer. Definitely
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. But yeah, I loved physical comedy as a kid. I loved Buster Keaton, and I loved Abbott and Costello, and Lucille Ball was the first woman I saw doing that same kind of, whether it was the chocolate on the the conveyor belt, or just getting progressively drunker and drunker doing this commercial she had talked her way into. I loved her brazen approach and attitude and her physicality.
Yeah, and then we met a lot of female comedians, obviously, in all the improv and stand-up world. And so, like, people you've never heard of, we really admire.
Yeah.
And we end up writing roles for them because we're just like,
She's so funny.
She's so
Why doesn't she have her own show?
yeah.
Anybody else? Elliot?
Do you see, since your film does deal with kind of like the cyber world of dating, do you feel like this new cyber approach to dating is problematic or a necessary element to life that exists?
So the question is the new focus on dating online and integrating that cyber element to relationships a positive or a negative?
Mike, do you want to start that one?
It is from personal experience, it is overwhelming and daunting. There are so many people, and when I first got online, not because I was that popular, but I just lost track and I had to keep a spreadsheet. Because at one point I had 3 mics in the running. There was surfer Mike, there was Asian Mike, and then there was real estate Mike, and they were all of their profile pictures were like them surfing, so I couldn't even get a really like good gauge on what they looked like. And so when I initially got into it, I had a spreadsheet, and then you think you're corresponding with someone, and maybe you go away for a weekend, and then apparently they meet the love of their life like that
already
Saturday,
had kids by the time
and
you
you're
get
like,
back.
what happened to Mike number 4 from Sherman Oaks?
He didn't even get
He
it.
just
He was-
never
he was
got
just
back
number
to
4.
me.
He didn't even
get a display.
So it's an overwhelming world, and that people are so disposable. You can go. There was a time where you would go on a date, and it would be maybe a B+ date and a good date. I'll see that person again. Now it's like, I could probably go for an A-. I could probably even get an A+. So I don't think people are willing to necessarily spend the time getting to know each other in the same way. That said, I'm currently in a very happy relationship that I began on OkCupid. So
If OkCupid would like to find,
I'll give you a plug.
I don't know if we even have like an option anymore. I mean, when online dating kind of first surfaced, do you remember? It did have that stigma of like, oh, yeah, no.
Oh, sorry.
But now it's like with how much the social media is so important in every business now, in every part of your life. Kids are now, we're gonna, see this younger generation basically, how it's gonna shape them. So problematic, it's just gonna change and it's gonna evolve, how we date and how we communicate. I'm seeing it with all my male friends. Well, female friends have a different take. They just want a guy to like text them
To
or
just
call
love
them
them.
and follow up. They'll never understand why they don't get a call or why why they ask them out and then they disappear. And
It's
for
just
the,
not that into you. Remember that?
Yeah.
right? Didn't we learn a lot from that book and movie? And for the guys, it's like, no, I'm not going to speak for the guys. Not the one that I'm thinking of right now. I'm not going to censor that right now. But I think it's basically, I don't know if it's problematic. It's basically,
It's
I think,
different.
part of evolution.
It's different.
And I, just to kind of weigh in, I would love to see you two do some like research of like how many people meet online and then go on to get married or be in, not even get married, just be in long-term
Right.
relationships and continue on this little storyline.
Yeah.
Maybe it becomes a web series. Is there something in the future for this short that you've made?
Well, one thing that's surprised and delighted us as we've been doing the Q&As and panel discussions is people have been asking for more. We were so intent on trying to get this edited down to a 10-minute short to program in festivals, and we got it just under 12. So to hear people say, I want more, I want it to be longer, we're like, oh, okay.
Like how much longer?
How much longer? Like
'Cause we got some
feature
more
or
footage.
pilot? Or when we do have this dating montage, that was one of our most challenging parts of post-production. We work with a lot of improvisational actors, and we let them, we scripted things, but then let them kind of run amok with characters that we helped them develop.
Amok they ran.
And they did, and so this essentially, 2-minute scene?
Was 30 minutes.
It was over
initially.
37 minutes originally because there was just so much content, and then our editors got it down to 15 and then 11, and you're like, that's longer than the entire short, you guys.
But we have started
So-
the feature. We're about halfway through with it. As far as what's next, if that will be next, it's really, we don't know.
We'll see how the response continues to be on the festival circuit, and if we have an option for distribution of some kind. We have an idea of how to structure it as a pilot and how to continue it through season after season once you survive the breakup.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there? But we also
Survive the
are
relationship.
developing a feature version.
Can you share with our audience out there how to keep up with you guys and your social media and the media
Yes.
on the movie?
Yes, we can.
We're on Facebook and we're-
Instagram as Quiet Duke.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. We're on Twitter, but we
Barely.
do it very well.
We're not.
Quiet
Quiet.
Duke.
Duke,
Quietduke.
Yeah, that's basically when we first started doing film. We were filming a short called Palin Effect. That was during the elections of Palin. Yeah, and the scene required Kai. This is
Back when we acted.
back when we were acting our stuff, so a very long time ago. But she was tackling me, and I have a dog named Duke, who's a Boston Terrier, would not shut up. And the whole show, we're like, Quiet Duke, Quiet Duke. So that became our namesake. we work with a lot of animals, not intentionally. So
We seem to always inadvertently write in children,
And
animals, exterior
we had
scenes.
a fly we had to kill in the last one.
Yeah.
Luckily we found a dead
We
moth,
found a dead one, so.
You guys are really funny.
Thank
and
you.
I really, really hope that other people see you and see your personality and you go on forward doing what you're doing. Because
Thank you
It's
so much.
delightful having
Thank you so
here.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.